48 hours and 30 minutes from kickoff of the Browns and the Houston Texans. What a big game this is. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show on WKYC Channel 3. I'm Jay Crawford, and I'm going to tell you why the Browns should beware. This game has trap game written all over it. Bull.
I'm Adam the Bull, and the Browns' running game may be dead, but the Browns' season is very much alive. More on that coming up. G. Bush.
President of the Kool-Aid Mafia here. We're going to tell you exactly why the Cleveland Browns are going to clinch a playoff spot this week against the Texans. Jay?
And I'm Jason Lloyd. And as always, we're going to have the pre-written headlines. We're going to tell you what happened. And I have a very special headline you're not going to want to miss. Mikey.
This week was supposed to be Deshaun Watson versus C.J. Stroud. Instead, it's Joe Flacco versus Case Keenum. But don't worry, we're still going to be talking about the franchise quarterbacks for both of these teams, looking at the present and the future. Jay?
All right, very good. Thank you, Mikey. Can't wait to see your extra special headline. Jason, of course, a veteran of the newspaper business.
Oh, I've been around.
This better be good. All right, first up today, Flacco's been unbelievable. He really has. He's averaging over 300 yards per start in his 3 games. Does he have to throw for 300 for the Browns to win on Sunday?
I don't think he does. I mean, I think he's got to come relatively close. But the Browns, listen, I know the Browns defense hasn't been quite as good on the road. But right now, they're getting healthy. While the offense is still a mess with injuries, the defense is in pretty good shape. Myles Garrett's getting healthy. Denzel Ward's getting healthy. Yeah, they're banged up at safety and some depth on the D-line, but most of their key players are ready to go. He could have a 250 passing yard game, and the defense could play lights out against the Texans offense that is hamstrung right now. So, yes, I don't think he has to have 300 for them to win.
The Browns defy logic. There's no such thing as has to in order for this team to win. You can't turn the ball over and win. The Browns do it every week. You have to be able to run the ball to win. The Browns don't run the ball. They still win. You can't have penalties to win. They have penalties all over the place, holdings, offsides, and they still win. Nothing makes sense with this team. They just find ways to win. Numbers don't matter. Does he have to throw for 300? No, he doesn't have to. It'd be nice if he did. It'd be nice if he didn't have 3 turnovers. But it just doesn't matter with this team. They figure out a way in the fourth quarter to get wins, regardless of whatever happens before that and whatever the numbers say.
Jay. Well, Flacco will throw for 300 yards, but the question is, does he need to? Not really. He can get you 250, 275, as long as he stays a little bit clean. And when clean for Flacco is 1 turnover. He's going to give you 1. Just we all come to the conclusion he's going to give you a strip sack or an interception. But you can see what he gives you when he's playing well. He gives you comeback ability. He gives you points on the board. I think Flacco comes in, and he does so for 3, but they don't need to do it to win.
I never changed my mind. I'm very stubborn. But you changed my mind because I was a hard yes on this. But you're right. If there's a team that defies logic, it has been the Cleveland Browns. Teams don't win when they're on quarterback number 4.
Right.
This team does. The penalties and the mistakes all over the field. It raises the degree of difficulty, but the defense has always bailed them out, and they somehow find a way to pull a rabbit out of the hat every week. So I'm changing my answer from yes, he does need to throw for 300 to no, he has to throw for 299. If he throws for 299, the Browns can win. But I really do think, 275, 250, he's got to be effective, but the running game's got to chip in and help a little bit this week as well. All right, last week there was a surprise contributor that appeared for the Cleveland Browns. All season long, we had heard of the myth of Marquise Goodwin. He's fast. He's an Olympian. He's a veteran. And then finally last week, he showed up and made a big play on the deep route, 57-yard hookup. Who will be the surprise contributor this week against the Texans?
Surprise contributor is no other than DTR. You say, what the heck is you talking about, G. Bush? Well, guess what? DTR came in a couple weeks ago, showed you a package where he ran the ball and got it, then he came in the next week. He threw a little screen pass. He got some trickery going. DTR will come in this game, and the Browns can't run the football. So what do you have to do? I'm all for the trickery now. If you can't run, DTR gives you the best opportunity to run some trick plays, to run the ball, and he can throw the ball. That's important when you're looking at trick plays. You need the run and pass option to trick people.
Coming.
DTR
that's a great call because there is a DTR package in there. It's bigger than what we've seen, and one of these weeks they're going to unleash it. I feel like I'm cheating. I went with Martin Emerson. I've been the Martin Emerson bandwagon driver this whole season. I love the guy. I think he's terrific in coverage. He's long. He's athletic. He's great against the run and the pass. And with Denzel on one side, with a backup quarterback this week, you're going to shade to the other side. I just think this is setting up for a big game for Martin Emerson. I don't even know if he's really a surprise contributor. He's one of the pillars of this team right now. So I kind of cheated a little bit, but because Denzel gets all of the attention and all of the credit, I'm going to stick with my guy, Martin Emerson.
All right, G. Bush went with a guy all the way over here that has
I didn't
is
see that
totally
coming.
off the radar.
Yeah.
Jason with a guy not a surprise at all because he's a great player. I'm going right in the middle. I'm going Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore has had his moments where he's played well. I think he's going to have one of his biggest games, maybe his biggest game of the year. He was totally out of the mix last week, but remember, in the other games with Flacco, he was targeted a lot. Joe Flacco has chemistry with him. He's gone to other guys the last couple of weeks, and the Texans are watching the film. They're seeing him going to Njoku, going to Cooper. That's going to leave things open for Elijah Moore in the slot where the Texans are mediocre against slot receivers. I think Elijah Moore has a big game, including a touchdown this week.
Finally, okay.
Yes.
Well, he has had one.
He has one.
All right, you guys you love to give me flack for my answers. I know you guys do, and you're going to kill me for this one. But my surprise contributor this week is Marquise Goodwin. Again.
Back to back.
Again. We have found a nugget of gold. Goodwin was neutralized before because even though they tried 3 or 4 deep balls with Deshaun Watson, they couldn't connect. Even though they tried it again with DTR, they couldn't connect. They now have the quarterback that can throw the pure, beautiful deep ball to a fast wide receiver. How could it be a surprise if we saw it last week? Well, we've only seen it the one play. I think we're going to see it multiple times on Sunday. The Browns found gold, and wherever you find gold, what do? You pan for it right where you found it. They're going to stay right there. They're going to go to Marquise Goodwin and hopefully find more gold with that connection.
Pure deep ball.
I don't have a problem with that.
It's like a unicorn.
Wow, I thought you were going to kill me for that.
No,
I know. It is like a unicorn.
Pure deep ball.
I'll tell you the one thing that scares me about this. We know C.J. Stroud is officially ruled out now. That happened just a short while ago.
Yep.
This game has trap game written all over it. What are your concerns about this being a trap game? Do you have any?
I have none, guys, because it's late in the season. I don't think trap games are September, October, maybe November, not around Christmas. The Browns have a chance to win the division. They have been behind the 8 ball this whole season with the injuries and everything. There's no way the Browns are taking the Texans lightly. Case Keenum has been teammates with a lot of these guys. Kevin Stefansky's coached him and coached against him. I have zero concern that the Browns take the Texans lightly.
If the Browns lose this game, it's not because, agreed, that they're overlooking Houston. This has big wild card implications too. Like the Texans are right in the thick of this. If they lose the game, it's probably because some of these things that have gone wrong all year finally caught up to them. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they weren't taking this game seriously or anything like that. There's just too much at stake. There's too much on the line right now for this to be a trap.
This is week 1 of the playoffs right here. This is a playoff game. You better come out here and get it done, bro. We're not worried about none of that extra trap. There's no such thing as a trap. The door is wide open. It's somebody standing in it, getting between where you want to go and what you need to do. So you need to go through the door, through that man to get what he's going. Hey, there's no trap game. Get it done, Browns.
Not to mention, Houston was favored when this week started, when the line
Right.
opened.
They opened the 2.5-point favorite.
Yep.
Now the Browns were 2.5-point favorite.
Okay, here's why it is a trap game and why they better be concerned about that. Trap game, no one sees coming, right? You don't see a trap game coming. You don't see one, you don't see one, you don't see one. I'm hoping the Browns see one. All of the stuff that we talk about when we look at the matchup on paper, they're out with their starting quarterback is out. Their best receiver is out. They've got other injuries, so they're missing players here and there. Because of all of that stuff, everything is pointing to a Browns win. I think a trap game is when all signs point to one team winning, but there are still valid reasons for why they could lose. Valid reasons they could lose?
Yeah.
It's on the road.
Yeah.
They have not been as good on the road, not even close, particularly the defense. How many times in Browns history do you say, gosh, they win games they weren't supposed to win, but then they give back that equity by losing one no one saw coming? I'm not saying they're going to lose. I'm just saying this has all the earmarks of a potential trap game.
I don't buy that no one would see it coming. I think here in Cleveland, sure, but nationally, I mean, the Browns are only a 2.5-point favorite. It's not like
I'm
they're
not
a big
really
favorite
looking
in this
at it.
game.
I don't care what the national folks, media, the betting line is. I don't really look at that. I think a trap game is a trap game because the team itself got caught in the trap of looking ahead.
Yeah,
I hope that Kevin Stefanski, and I trust that he will, gets them past that, keeps them focused on his mantra is the best mantra for a head coach. One at a time. Yeah. We have a 1-week schedule. It's the Houston Texans. Take care of business. Then you can start thinking about short work week 2, Thursday next week against the Jets. All right, we're going to play a new game this week. I love the way this is laid out here. Before we do that, let me throw it to Mikey to explain what we're doing. Fill in the blank.
It's pretty simple. You did this in kindergarten. You probably did it in high school. It's fill in the blank. I'll give you guys a statement. Your job's to fill in the blank, and we're going to start with Bull, who had a double blank to start. So, Bull, are you ready?
I am, Mike. I think it's funny Mike brought up kindergarten and high school. There was nothing in between, right? You just did it in kindergarten and high school.
That's it.
Graduated kindergarten. Yeah. Next year, I graduated high school, and now I'm here. So that's how I get here.
How that works.
First, fill in the blank. The Cleveland Browns rushing attack has been blank lately, but it needs to be blank to beat Houston.
Now, we keep it classy on WKYC, so I can't actually say the words that I put for that first blank. But let's put it up there, Mike. Can we put it up there? Horse blank lately.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But it needs to be nothing special, which is grammatically incorrect, but I couldn't think of a way to make it grammatically correct. I have no expectations for the Browns running game this week. I have had no expectations for the last couple of weeks, and I don't think they need the running game to be great to win. We saw that last week. I just think, you want to be able to run the ball a little bit, but I don't think it has to be anything special for the Browns to win this game.
Because of the opponent?
Because of the opponent, because they're throwing the ball so well. Yeah. They've been so good in the passing game and so good on defense.
All right.
I know it's on the road. I think some of those road numbers got blown out of proportion for those first 2 games that Myles Garrett was back from the injury. He didn't play well in those games, and they were really banged up on defense. Denzel Ward missed some of that time, so I think it's been overblown.
All right, what's G's fill in the blank?
G's up next. G, I would be blank if Joe Flacco did not play well against Houston. What word did you use to fill in the blank?
This is crazy. I got like 3 of them in my head, and I can't remember which one it was. It could be A, dumbfounded, or B, flabbergasted. There it is. I would be flabbergasted.
That is a good word.
If Joe Flacco didn't play well against the Houston Texans. He's already thrown for them 300 yards. I predicted it, 3 touchdowns the first game. He needs to get it done, and guess what? It's playoffs, Joe. Let's get it done. And I got flabbergasted. I expect him to get it done.
The one thing you don't want is a flabbergasted G. Bush.
No.
I've seen it. It's not pretty.
Especially on Twitter.
What do you got for Jason?
Have that.
Jason's up next, and Jason has to do with Mr. Kevin Stefanski. The sentence I gave Jason, more people should be calling Kevin Stefanski a blank for his job this season. And Jason, you took an interesting approach with this one.
I said more people should be calling Kevin Stefanski an astronaut. And I'll explain why. We know that the guy's smart, right? Ivy League educated. And he loves a challenge. And I've said all year, I think the reason that they're so successful and he embraces this is because he loves the idea of all right, what do we have to work with? Let's figure it out. I've called him MacGyver before. I was talking to Didi Kinkabala, who obviously CBS sideline reporter. She's done a number of Browns games. She's a favorite of our show on YouTube. And I was talking to her about this idea that I just think Kevin loves the idea of a challenge. And she said, it's funny you mentioned that. When they were talking to him during a pre-production meeting, they were talking about the movie Apollo 13. And Kevin said his favorite part of the movie is when they dump the box out on the table and they said, we have to fit a square peg into a round hole. And they've got duct tape and tubes and all this other stuff.
And the clock is ticking.
And the clock's ticking, and you got to figure this out. And she said that was his favorite part of the movie, and it just goes back to show you, I think, why he thrives and why he's so successful in this crazy season with all these injuries is because he loves the idea of taking a stapler, duct tape, some kerosene, and building a bomb out of it that can explode on the field on Sunday.
And that's about what he's done this year.
That's about what he's done this year.
And to quote that line of that movie as well, failure's not an option.
That's right.
You got to get it done.
That's
all right,
right.
What's mine?
Jay, you're up last. David Njoku's play the last 3 weeks has been blank.
Exactly what we've all been waiting for. That's the only thing that I could think of. When you sent this to me, I thought, this is Njoku we thought we were getting when we drafted him. This is the Njoku that we thought we were getting when we made him among the league's highest paid tight ends. We are finally seeing what David Njoku can do, and whether that's a product of Joe Flacco is now leading the offense, or Kevin Stefanski, being the astronaut he is, has finally figured out a way to work this square peg into the round hole. Whatever the deal is, this is the player we thought we were getting all along, and it came 6 years late, but I'm glad it's arrived.
Yeah.
And we need more of that if we're going to push this thing into the playoffs.